Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the lies. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is the horrifying case of Sean Carpenter in Oswego County, New York, where he was ultimately caught using the same technology that he intended to use for his home security. Carpenter was discovered through video evidence recorded by a security camera in his own son's bedroom, which ended up capturing his criminal acts. His fiancée discovered the footage and reported the evidence to the authorities, and then she took her autistic son and moved out immediately. Yeah, you heard me right. His son was autistic. Investigators from the Oswego County Sheriff's Department, led by Detective Blackford, executed the arrest after reviewing some video surveillance. The footage was described by the judge as so horrific that even the term was inadequate to describe the contents. Carpenter was originally facing a 13-count indictment. The primary and most serious charge was predatory sexual assault against a child. This is one of the highest level felonies in New York, which often carries a sentence equivalent to second-degree murder, which is 25 years to life there. On July 30th of 25, Carpenter pleaded guilty to the single count of predatory sexual assault against a child after a negotiated plea, which dropped all the rest of those charges. So now we're going to listen in on a sentencing hearing and see exactly what went on and the seriousness of his crimes.
Pursuant to agreement negotiations held at that time, on July 30th, 2025, Mr. Carpenter pled guilty to predatory sexual assault against a child. The agreed upon sentence is an indeterminate sentence of 17 years to life. Also, an order of protection was requested as part of the disposition. Also, given the nature of the offense, it requires registration pursuant to the sex offender registry. Also, the defendant entered a waiver of appeal with certain exceptions that I'm sure we'll address today. Further, I did receive the various filings from the defense and the people. But let me first ask Ms. Schwartz, are you aware of any legal reason we cannot go forward with sentencing today?
I am not, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Woodfork or Ms. Martin Todd, the people move sentence. I did receive notice from the people. Would you like to be heard further, Mr. Woodfork?
I apologize, Your Honor.
I did receive notice from the people regarding, you filed a notice that the victim's mother would like to be heard in sentencing.
Your Honor, we have an impact statement that we just read on behalf of.
So you're going to read it on her behalf?
Yes.
Okay.
And for the record, Your Honor, we are going to substitute the child's name that is listed in the impact statement, so I will say John instead of the child's actual name, just to maintain the anonymity of that child.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Woodfork.
Thank you, Your Honor. My son John is delayed with autism, which means he cannot always tell me what he feels, why he is afraid. I have to piece it together through his tears, his silence, and his behaviors. For nearly a year, he could not even bring himself to take a bath. Something so ordinary, something every child should feel safe doing, became a reminder of terror for him. Swimming, something that once made him smile and laugh, was gone from his life. Only recently has he tried again, but even that fragile progress comes with fear. John clings to me when I leave for work, terrified I won't come back. He cannot fall asleep alone in his room. He struggles with brushing his teeth, with potty training, things that should be simple, yet for him are filled with fear. Even a visit to the dentist ends in tears for him and for me. Every day I am haunted by the same question: will my son ever be okay? He cannot speak the weight of his trauma, but he lives inside his body. It shows in his fears, his triggers, his struggles. For him, healing is not temporary, it is a lifelong journey. The defendant did not just take away safety, he stole John's innocence. He shattered my son's trust in the world. He stole my peace as his mother. I tried to comfort John, to speak the words he cannot, but no amount of love can erase what was taken. So while the defendant may face 17 years behind bars, my son and I face a lifetime of therapy, a lifetime of questions, a lifetime of walking carefully through the world, not knowing when the next reminder of his trauma will appear. A lifetime of fears my child should never have had to carry. This crime follows us every single day. It sits at our dinner table. It lingers in the silence of our home. It shows up in the smallest daily routines. Time will not make it disappear. Your Honor, I ask you to understand that the weight of this pain will never leave us. My son deserves safety and healing. And I, as his mother, will carry this pain and fight beside him for the rest of our lives. Your Honor, there's not much more I could say to truly depict the horrors and heinous crime and the effects that this abuse will have on this child for the rest of his life. But it does bear saying, Your Honor, that the circumstances surrounding this case and this abuse are horrific, are heinous. And there are many levels and layers that explain truly how upsetting, unnerving, and tragic this is. One of the main elements, factors in this case that make it unconscionable is that Mr. Carpenter is this child's father. Mr. Carpenter was supposed to protect him. The nightmares, the horrors, the struggles, the fears that his son will have potentially for the rest of his life are due to the actions of his father. And I think we are all lucky and grateful that the circumstances in this case allowed us to see what happened. Because as the child's mother stated in her impact statement, this child suffered from
Hold on for a second, there's some noise coming from the net. Sorry about that, go ahead, Mr. McLeod.
This child suffers from autism. This child has trouble relaying his feelings, emotions, and communicating those things verbally. The truth of the matter, Your Honor, is but for these actions being caught on video, we may never have been here. This abuse may have continued on and on and on. If you look at Mr. Carpenter's pre-sentence report, he notes that he's had an alcohol abuse problem, that he started drinking since he was 15 years old, that he would drink daily vodka, handles of vodka, and that he would be drunk and intoxicated, and it is that alcohol abuse that caused us to be here today. Judge, I would say that having an alcohol abuse problem does not in and of itself make you a sexual abuser of a child. Being drunk does not cause you to sexually abuse your 3-year-old child. But if that is the case, if that is the impetus for why we are here, then my God, this child may have suffered more than we know, because he himself said he drank all the time. But again, luckily in these circumstances, we had the video, we saw what happened. We had Mr. Carpenter's fiance come forward and speak exactly about what she saw and got that child out of that house. She has made a decision to marry Mr. Carpenter and go forward with that engagement. I can't speak any more about that versus her taking his side versus the child's and who she is actually trying to protect. But we know that in that house, he had no protection. In that house, he was succumbed to a victimhood. And Your Honor, in this investigation, we had the honor of working with a great detective from the Sheriff's Police Department. Detective Blackford and I worked this investigation from the beginning. And we made a concerted effort to limit the exposure of this video to anyone outside of our specific circles and in this investigation because of those horrors. And the horrors continued for us and others when you heard the sounds that echo, the cries that echo, the screams that echo. Not only what you see, it's what and you hear the terror and the pain of that child. Your Honor, Mr. Carpenter accepts responsibility. He has pled guilty, he is accepting his sentence, but not for a few minor statements as to why he thinks it's unreasonable. When asked about the proposed sentence, he states it's absurd, given his lack of criminal history and circumstances leading up to the offense. I would say that the only absurdity here is that he thinks that this sentence is too much. That 17 years to life for what he did to his son is too much. And that because it only happened one time, that he should be granted more leniency than what he was given. And Your Honor, for the record, the maximum sentence is 25 to life. Again, it is absurd to think that leniency should be granted because you only did it once. And as you heard in the victim impact statement, that one time is going to stick with his son for life. It has impacted his life now and forever. Your Honor, this sentence is appropriate, more than appropriate. And lastly, Ms. Schwartz has provided the people in the court memos, reference letters, and pleas to take emotion out of this. And Judge, I would argue that emotion is one of the things that shouldn't be taken out of this. That you can feel and understand what we are dealing with when we're looking in the eyes of individuals that can do these horrible, heinous things. If you can turn off your emotions in the eyes of this, that says more about you than anything else. So again, Your Honor, I would just ask that you go forward with the agreed upon disposition that the court has already laid out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woodford. Do you have the proposed order of protection, by the way?
Your Honor, we have a proposed order of protection based on the fact that he is going to be getting 17 years to life. We have left that blank, but we are requesting a lifetime order of protection, so we would ask that that order of protection expire in 99 years.
Yeah, I see that, please. Anything further from the people, Mr. Woodford?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Schwartz, is there anything you'd like to say before the court proposes sentence? I will note that I received the sentencing memorandum, the attached materials that you submitted, and those you requested those be attached to the commitment as part of this process.
I do, Your Honor, and ask to be made part of the record. At this time, unexpectedly, I'm also asking for my omnibus motion to also be sent to the Department of Corrections because it outlines the facts based on the video. So I ask that that also be done. If the court needs me to provide a duplicate copy, I'm happy to do so. I get it, right? We have cameras here. We've got some theatrics. This is an agreed upon disposition. And it was agreed upon not because Mr. Carpenter was failing to accept responsibility for this case whatsoever. It was agreed upon because he had no other choice, and I did not believe it was a just sentence. So if they're taking position with the fact that we're disputing the 17 to life as being just under these circumstances, that's on me. That's not on Mr. Carpenter whatsoever. I'm not going to allow to sit here and allow him to take responsibility and then also have them say he's not taking responsibility. I don't think it's fair. And if emotion is what's driving this case, then that's not the people's job. The people's job is not to have emotion drive their decision making, and that's been my issue with this case from the beginning, is that my conversations with the district attorney's office have been based on emotion as opposed to the collective facts. There is no dispute Carpenter was absolutely not drunk, out of his mind intoxicated. That very respected Detective Blackbird, he even noted it at grand jury. He noted it before he spoke to Mr. Carpenter that night. The videos that I've provided to the court also show it. And but for the fact that this is an age-based offense, this is the only case I've ever been involved in that I absolutely believe I would have been able to prove intoxication, which is a nearly impossible defense based on everything we have. We have a liter of alcohol on the front porch, which has this much left. I'm going to say it has less than a quarter left in the bottle of vodka, which was a liter. When Mr. Carpenter goes upstairs, he leaves his front door wide open. He goes up to a room, to a camera that he installed. And after the crime, when he's being questioned, we waived the hearing, but I would say still under the influence. He tells them, hey, there's cameras. I can't believe I'm sitting here. I could defend as a prosecutor 25 to life on every single predatory sexual assault case. Of course you can, right? It's the sexual abuse of a child under a certain age or for an extended period of time that usually involves sexual intercourse. But that's why this statute was created. Predatory sexual assault was created to penalize the conduct. That's why it has 25 to life, the same as a murder second. So you need to look beyond the conduct itself and look at all of the circumstances. And I don't believe they've been fairly looked at in this case. That's why I fought for the exception of the waiver of appeal. But to sit here and say that there's something wrong with me because I'm devoid of emotion, or that Mr. Carpenter can't say that this is an unfair sentence because I told him it is, that's completely unfair. It's agreed upon. This court knows all the facts. Everything's part of their record. The appellate division will know the facts. And unfortunately, at this point, I'm going to ask that the videos that have the incident also be made part of the record. It can't be provided to the appellate division at this time, but if the appellate division wants to make their own factual assessments, they have to review them. So I'm going to ask that those also be made part of the record. With that said, we'd like to go forward with the 17 minutes.
Normally, when there's an agreed upon disposition, my practice is not particularly comment on sentencing. I will give Mr. Carpenter the opportunity to address the court if he chooses in this moment. But I think it's incumbent for me to at least make an inquiry, Ms. Schwartz. And I certainly, there's a lot of emotion here, and certainly don't fault you for your zealous advocacy on behalf of your client, but you've just indicated that you believe that you could have succeeded on a defense of intoxication, and that the sentence, in your view, is harsh and excessive, for lack of a better term, that it's too severe a sentence. So, I mean, I have to ask, do you see a basis for the defendant to withdraw his plea here?
Absolutely not. Intoxication is not a defense to an age-based crime. Predatory sexual assault is an age-based crime. He has no defense. He has no legal defense to the crime. That's why he had to accept the offer. It's on video. We're not disputing his guilt, right? We're disputing the propriety of the actual sentence in this case. So, no, he's not looking to, I mean, you can ask Mr. Carpenter himself, but we've thoroughly discussed this. We're not looking to vacate his guilty plea. And I have to note the sentence is unduly harsh and severe because I want to give him a chance to have 5 appellate division justices tell him that it's not.
And I certainly respect that, and I understand it. But it's a little bit of a complex situation. When you just said that you believe that he had no choice but to plead guilty. Everyone has a choice to plead guilty or to plead not guilty. We discussed that extensively at the time of the plea, and I just want to ensure that everyone still wants to go forward with the sentencing on this matter today.
He had no choice but to accept the sentence that was associated with the indictment because he had to plead to the indictment. This court was unwilling to offer him something less than what the people were willing to offer. So yes, it's a no-win situation because he doesn't have a defense. He has to plead guilty because he doesn't have a defense. Mr. Carpenter did not wish to proceed to trial. We discussed that thoroughly. So he had to accept the offer that was given to him. That's why we asked this court to give him something less, and the court declined. I respect the court's decision. But in no way are we saying, hey, he doesn't want to plead guilty. His guilty plea wasn't knowing, intelligent, and voluntary. These are conversations he and I had extensively before he entered that guilty plea. But he is left into a sitting where, okay, you either go to trial, you receive more time because you went to trial, and you're absolutely going to be convicted, right? This is on video, so I don't really know what defense I would have lodged. There is no defense to the crime. So he's stuck because all he can do is plead to the indictment. He's stuck with what the people were willing to offer unless this court went below. So he accepted the 17 to life. It can be both ways, where he had to plead guilty to get some consideration and still maintain that his guilt and still maintain that he didn't believe he was given enough consideration. If the court's looking me to concede that, to say, oh, well, he pled, so of course he accepted this. He accepted the only deal that was offered to him because he was left into a situation where he had to accept that offer because trial was not a viable possibility for him.
I'm not asking you to concede anything, but I do appreciate your clarification. Anything further, Ms. Schwartz?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Carpenter, first, before we go forward, take a moment and speak with your attorney, but I'm going to ask whether or not you wish to make a motion to withdraw your plea in this matter.
No, Your Honor.
Right, understood, sir. Is there anything further you'd like to say before the court proposes the agreed upon sentence?
I just want to say that I am mortified and disgusted by my actions that night, and my only thoughts are about my son growing up happy and healthy.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carpenter. First of all, the court is imposing an order of protection. The sentence is an indeterminate sentence that includes up to a life sentence. So the court is making the maximum date December 8th, 2021-24. Do you want to be heard on that, Ms. Schwartz?
No, Your Honor, no objection.
I am completing the order of protection. And I'll ask that you serve a complete review with your client and sign it. Thank you. So, Mr. Carpenter, this order of protection is a court order. It orders you to not communicate with the people named and to stay away from their home, school, and place of employment, not to engage in any criminal conduct towards the people named in the order of protection. If you violate this, you could be subject to additional criminal charges. I can see you went over it with your attorney and signed it. Do you have any questions about the order of protection? Right, this has been is there anything further you'd like to say, Mr. Carpenter? This has been a very difficult case for a number of reasons, primarily because of the, I don't think the word horrific does it justice, nature of the conduct here. Yes, it is true there were extensive negotiations, and yes, it is true that the people offered a disposition of 17 years to life, and this court refused to issue any lesser sentence. The sentencing range on one count, predatory sexual assault against a child, carries a potential maximum up to 25 years to life. 17 years to life is substantially less than that. So the court is recognizing that Mr. Carpenter does deserve some benefit for taking responsibility in entering a guilty plea, and I think that that is appropriately taken into account by a sentence of 17 years to life. reviewed the pre-sentence report. I'm incorporating that into the comments. I reviewed the submissions from the defense counsel in terms of the sentencing memorandum. And during the pendency of this case, as part of the motion practice, the court reviewed the grand jury exhibits, including the video that was submitted to the court for the court to review. And it was necessary to review that in the context of the litigation that was going on at that time in terms of the legal sufficiency of the indictment and with respect to some of the specific counts. And given the nature of the video, I reviewed it in chambers with the people, with the assistant DAs present, Mr. Woodford from Spartan Town, and with Ms. Ward present. And to repeat what I said earlier, to call it horrific is simply inadequate to describe the horror of what that video depicted and the horror of what this child suffered in his own bedroom, a place where a child should feel the most safe. And at the hands of his father, one of the people with whom a child should feel most safe. The impact statement that was read today, the child's mother, simply echoes and documents very clearly and illustrates what she and this child will undoubtedly suffer for the rest of their lives. And I think that's important to remember as part of this equation as well. In light of that, I do believe that the agreed upon sentence was appropriate. The court, I am not agreeing to any lesser sentence. I understand that Mr. Carpenter has no prior criminal convictions. However, given these offenses and what was done to this child in these circumstances, the court believes that this is an appropriate sentence. Based upon the conviction for predatory sexual assault against a child, the sentence and judgment of the court, Mr. Carpenter be sentenced to an indeterminate sentence of 17 years to life to be served in an appropriate New York State correctional facility. Prior to release, a hearing will have to be conducted pursuant to the Sex Offender Registration Act. The court is incorporating the order of protection. The court has to impose a mandatory fee and surcharge totaling $1,425. The court will defer payment on that for 3 years from today's date. The court also is issuing the order of protection. The remaining counts in the indictment. The remaining counts in this 13-count indictment are dismissed as satisfied by the plea and sentence. Anything further from the people, Mr. Woodford?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Schwartz?
Yes, just briefly, Judge. I object to the sentence as unduly harsh and severe, and in terms of the court's factual statement that this was the result of extensive negotiations, 17 to life was the only offer that was ever presented to me.
Your comments are noted for the record.
Thank you, Judge.
That concludes today's proceeding.
He said, "Do you guys never want to see your children again?" And I said, "Please step away from my children. They no stranger danger. They do not talk to strangers. Please leave them alone."
We spent a little bit of time looking for a last kiss that I ended up not finding and giving up on. And there was a couple, boy and a girl, that were coming by, and I told them that I had lost a disc there, so if they find it.
We were just being polite. He did at one point, he was like, reached out, and he was like, "Hey, touch my hand." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, touch my hand." And so I just like lightly touched the back of his hand because he was holding it out. And he was like, "Oh, good, like now you have my DNA so the police can find me."
Whatcom police respond to a chilling tip about a man attempting to lure 5 children into his vehicle. Officers launch an immediate investigation, and as they probe further, they discover a horrifying pattern that has already rattled several community members, disturbing methods, and a dangerous man who could strike again at any moment.
You were talking to the kids and asking if they wanted candy, they wanted toys, and then you opened their trunk and asked if they never wanted to see their parents again.
What?
June 24th, 2024 started innocently enough when Maribel Morin took her 2 children to a local candy store in Bellingham, Washington to grab ice cream on a warm summer evening. But while Maribel was inside the store, she noticed a vehicle parking up where the children were playing outside before a man she didn't know approached them. What happened next would scare Maribel so much that she would photograph the man's vehicle, post it all over social media, and accuse the man of trying to lure her children away from her. When the Whatcom County Police Department bring Maribel in to peel back the layers of her story, a criminal investigation begins that will produce one ghastly detail after another.
So can you tell me everything from start to finish of what happened? Okay, well, we have arrived at the tea shop, and then from there got our ice cream, whatnot. My children, my nephew, and my brother and my niece, they all sat out on the front porch while I ran in, went to go get some more ice cream. The vehicle pulled up, window was open. I was listening, I was watching. He ended up saying, "Oh, you guys have Minnie and Mickey Mouse Crocs on. I should have brought mine." And then he was like lifting his feet up a little bit, like if he was wearing high heels type of thing. And then he ended up mentioning, "Do you guys like toys? Do you guys like candy?" And he was already out of his vehicle. He was blowing out smoke, so I'm not sure if he was like vaping or if he was smoking like an oil pen or whatnot. He was like, "Do you guys never want to see your again?" And he popped open the trunk, and I said, "Please step away from my They no stranger danger. They do not talk to strangers. Please leave them alone." He didn't listen. He goes, "But do you see how they're listening? Even though they're not responding, they're listening to me." And he popped up his trunk, and he ended up taking out a couple frisbees and trying to spin it like close to his car. I want to say not even a foot away. He was just spinning it, trying to like bring them closer. My daughter took off running inside to me. I looked at my nephew, Brian, which is the one next door. Like, everyone, go to the side, step away from him. And then he was like, "I don't know what the problem is." Shut the trunk, walked inside, because at that point I was already walking out. I'm going to be out there. And so I walked out front, and he was already inside. So then I had called my mom, and I was like, "Hey, this is what's going on. This happened." She was like, "Well, let's just play it by ear." And I was like, "No, it doesn't feel right." So then I called 911.
Even Maribel's intervention to bring her children to safety wasn't going to stop him, as the man tries to entice 3 other children with methods even more sickening than before.
There was 3 girls. Like I said, I think the age was like maybe 8 to 12. He had pulled up a chair near them, and at that moment I knew like there was a gut feeling like, go get the girls. So then I tapped one of their legs, and I was like, "Hey, do you guys want to come over here and stand with us, please?" And at first they like hesitated, and they're like, "Sure." Well, he was mentioning money. "Do you guys want money? I have money in the trunk if you guys want some." And so then they came over here. He's like, "What the heck? I don't know what the problem is." As he sat still in that chair, we were a distance away, and then he was like, "I don't know what the problem is. I'm not a terrorist. I'm just a white guy. I'm just a white male." And then he was like, "Oh, I see what you're doing." And then he got in his car, and then he took off. I was like, "Did he say anything to you guys?" And he said, the girl that I spoke to said that he was asking if she wanted some whiskey.
So far, investigators have only heard Maribel's side of the story, but they'll soon get to speak to the accused. But before that, another detective enters the room with a lineup of potential suspects to see if she can make a positive identification.
If you take a look at those, and if you see a person that you recognize, I will have you mark that.
I want to say it was, I think I'm pretty positive, because the nose is what rings the bell.
The man she identified from the stack of photographs is 53-year-old Corey Cardwell, and the vehicle pictured in Maribel's Facebook post is owned by his mother and registered to his address. And according to reports, each of the other 3 children he'd approached all corroborated Maribel's story. And not only did the children, there were other witnesses in the area who believed that the man's behavior definitely raised some red flags. But there's more to come when further harrowing details emerge as officers are driving to Corey's last known address.
We were eating at CJ's Beach House and just sitting on the deck, whatever. And there was a table of people, like kitty corner to us, and they were leaving, and I wasn't really fully paying attention, hadn't looked at them fully, and a guy came up and started talking to us, and I thought that he was from that table. And so I was just, I don't know, being social. He was just friendly, but kind of weird. He wasn't mean, rude to us, nothing. He was weird, and he was very proud of the fact that he had scared whoever he was talking to before us. And And I was like, oh, well, that's not very cool. Like, I didn't know what to say. He was like, oh, well, yeah, I really scared those other people. Like, do I scare you? And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, like, are you scared of me? And I was like, well, should I be? So we were just being polite. He did at one point, he was like, reached out and he was like, hey, touch my hand. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, touch my hand. And so I just like lightly touched the back of his hand because he was holding it out. And he was like, oh, good, like now you have my DNA so the police can find me.
It turns out police didn't need a DNA sample to catch Corey, as the vehicle's registration led officers right to his doorstep. And now they're keen to hear his side of the story and to probe what was really driving his actions that day.
Yeah, that's it. Hi. Hi, Sheriff's Office. Corey?
Yeah.
Hi.
So I can talk to you a sec?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I put some shoes on?
Sure, yeah.
I thought it was going to be the dog.
That was going to be the dog?
Oh, I was telling my mom our dog got out last night and we haven't found him.
Okay.
I'm worried he might have just gone off into the woods to die because his kind of wife died about 2 months ago.
Oh.
And he was been acting really weird the last couple of days, just hanging out under tables.
Is that your roommate that's in there?
It's my mom.
Oh, it's your mom. Sorry. I just keep seeing the door just go and open and close.
She's probably confused.
Oh, yeah, by the Sheriff's Office. Just so you know, I have everything just being audio and video recorded.
What's going on?
Well, we're just here to talk to you, and sorry, while I talk with you, just keep hands out of pockets. Yeah, thank you. It's just a safety issue, yeah. So, first off, is this your car?
My mom's.
Your mom's car? Do you drive it?
Not usually, but sometimes.
Okay, all right. I'm just here to talk with you to see where your whereabouts were yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, I was here.
All day?
I stayed up all night long dealing with the dog, like walking around the neighborhood with a flashlight and stuff, so.
Sure.
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, today's Tuesday.
Yeah, we had an appointment with Rollins. So yesterday was Monday. I met with a guy to have a prayer meeting in Linden.
In Linden?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I can't see what you're doing back there.
Oh, I have a pinched sciatic nerve.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's really bad.
Gotcha.
Like my whole leg is just flaring.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'll try
So you had a prayer group in Linden?
Yeah, I met with Rod at his real estate office.
Okay.
It doesn't take long for Corey to realize this police visit is more serious than he first thought, and the officers know more about what he did yesterday than they're letting on.
We just had some people that called in that were concerned about some incidents that happened yesterday, so I'm trying to get your side of the story of things.
From who?
From multiple people, actually.
Well, I met with Rod Blankers. He's the only person that I know.
Mm-hmm. You didn't contact anyone else?
No.
What about driving around?
Did I contact anyone driving around?
Mm-hmm.
No. What do you mean by that?
Because we have people that say that they spoke with you yesterday.
On the phone?
No, in person. You were in person at a couple different spots.
Oh, I thought you guys said I think there was like one more guy playing disc golf that I saw a couple times. I spent a little bit of time looking for a lost disc. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Looking for a lost disc that I ended up not finding and giving up on. And there was a couple, boy and a girl, that were coming by, and I told them that I had lost a disc there. So if they find it, it's a good disc.
Okay. What color are your discs? Are they like Frisbees, or what color are those?
They're all different colors.
Yeah.
They're sort of like, that's part of the... Is this?
Oh, that's ours.
Oh, that's
yeah.
They're sort of part of the joy of it. Is they're sort of like Jolly Ranchers.
Oh.
And the plastics are really different, kind of pretty high end.
Sure.
Initially, Corey claims he was at home yesterday, but it's not long before he mentions more and more places he visited, placing in the area of the candy store at the time of the alleged offenses.
I thought you guys were going to be my dog, and I was so excited.
No, we don't. This isn't involving your dog at all.
What'd you do after that? I went to the grocery store and then home.
Where's the grocery store?
And I got Coconut Kenny's pizza and groceries. And I don't know Linden at all, so I had to ask the guy at Coconut Kenny's how to get on the guide and get to, was it Birch Bay and Linden Road, so you could get back here. Mm-hmm. Big Coconut Kenny's was right next to the grocery store.
In Linden?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then after you got Coconut Kenny's and groceries, then where?
Came home.
Straight home?
Yep.
What time do you think you got home?
I'm not really sure because I'm not sure how long I was at the course. And also, this neighbor lady over here had called me because my mom's accidentally been letting the dog out, and he keeps going to her house. Mm-hmm. And so she just got my number the day before. And she told me that Coda was over there, and I was trying to get a hold of my mom to let her know so she wasn't freaking out looking for the dog. And she didn't answer the phone. I called her a bunch of times, and she never answered and never got a text. She said she didn't hear it when I talked to her later. But, got left rods at 12:30, probably disc golf I stayed a bit and sat on the picnic table and sun and stuff too. So probably it was an hour and a half. And then groceries and shit, maybe an hour. I'm sorry to swear. So what's that, like 4?
If Corey was home by 4 p.m., then how did Maribel photograph his vehicle in Birch Bay nearly 3 hours later at around 7:30 p.m.? And how did she know he had what she thought were colored frisbees in his trunk? It's questions like these which let investigators believe he's not being as honest as he claims.
So what happened?
Well, some people said that they saw you at a restaurant last night.
No.
You didn't go to Birch Bay?
No. In a restaurant in Birch Bay?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did come home that way, though. Birch Bay, London, north to there, and then up Kickerville, I think it is, and I came up the back way, which I don't usually do, just to change the scenery sort of thing.
Through Birch Bay?
Through and the park, and then you come out to Kickerville, which is just boom.
Did we make any stops along the way of there?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
What is going on?
Well, clearly you can see that there's some concern of why we're here, right? So
I'm super confused.
Yeah.
I think you probably remember. You probably know why we're here.
Right. Your face when I asked you, like, did you go any? But when I said, did anyone see you at a restaurant? You were like, and it looked like it.
No, I struggle a lot with memory and stuff.
Sure.
And this is also, like I said, I didn't sleep last night because of the dog.
Sure.
But it's convenient how Corey blacked out only in that time frame.
I remembered I came through Birch Bay.
Okay. So did you stop at any spots?
In Birch Bay?
Yeah.
No, I had the food, I had the groceries, didn't get gas, did the disc golf thing. Sometimes I play disc golf at the park in Birch Bay, like the big forest, when people aren't camping there. But
is that near CJ's Beach House?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what CJ's Beach House is?
No, I don't. I'm not from here, and I don't hang out here.
Do you know where Birch Bay is?
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah, that whole ride. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said he went along the water and then ended in the state park and then came up this way.
And then it comes up to Kickerville and then right there.
Yeah.
All the
Mm-hmm. So why would people say that you stopped and you were talking to people outside your vehicle?
I don't know. What are they? Who are these people and what are they saying?
Well, that's actually the kind of reaction that when they had asked you to leave some establishments, that's actually the kind of statements that you were making.
Huh. I don't.
You don't remember at all?
Remember
yesterday evening? What did you for dinner last night?
Coconut Kenny's pizza and salad. One of those salad kits.
Multiple different people saying we're at different places in Birch Bay yesterday.
We're at 5 people right now that are all not knowing each other, that are saying that you stopped and you talked with them.
We're just trying to get a little context as to what you were thinking when you were talking with these people.
I mean, I have no idea. You tell me.
When a candy store clerk who witnessed the incident was interviewed earlier, she told police that Corey had immediately become defensive when confronted about his behavior and demanded to know who'd made a complaint against him. It's this defensive, nervous behavior that raises some red flags for the other officers involved. And now they're going to try to break Corey's story down one step at a time.
Did you get ice cream there last night?
Oh, maybe I did have ice cream. Yeah, I don't remember talking to any kids.
But you stopped there for ice cream.
I don't remember doing that.
But you just said that you had ice cream last night.
I did have ice cream. Like, it's evidence of ice cream in the house.
Do you see where this is all kind of going? So we need to get you to piece all this memory back together.
I'm not sure where this is going or what.
Okay, well, I just told you of you talking to kids, right?
Yeah, you asked me if I talked to kids. You didn't tell me that I did or what they're saying I did. I'm absolutely not clear on whatever you want me to tell you. Sure. I don't know.
We would like to find out from you, to hear from you what you did.
Well, I just told you like everything that I did from yesterday, from leaving here to coming home, and then remembered that I came home a different way when you talked about Birch Bay, and then remembered that there was ice cream here when you said that. But I don't have any memory of getting ice cream there or talking to any kids.
You don't recall?
At all, no.
Do you recall stopping in Birch Bay?
No, I thought that I had not done that. Like, I wasn't lying when I said that.
So you have no recollection of your interactions with anybody else?
No. What are people saying that I did?
Do you recall stopping at a restaurant along the beach? Nope. At CJ's Beach House and going inside and grabbing toothpicks?
I don't know what CJ's Beach House is. I'm sure it's a cool
so it's a restaurant.
in Birch Bay.
Do you recall anything about toothpicks?
No.
And having about a 15-minute conversation with a bunch of people?
No, not at all.
Do you recall stopping in the middle of traffic and screaming at traffic?
No. I guess it sounds like I'm having a bit of a meltdown.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Well, and I am. I mean, I'm just starting to get into some therapy, and I'm going through a divorce after 32 years.
But with several witnesses, some of whom described Corey's appearance perfectly, and a positive identification from the victim's mother, along with a time-stamped photo of his vehicle at Birch Bay, seen by thousands on social media. There's plenty of evidence for police to at least make an arrest and question Corey further.
All right, what about a mom telling you to stay away from her?
No, that's freaked me out.
What about a server telling you to leave their establishment because you're scaring the patrons?
Absolutely not. This is at CJ's place, you said?
That's at CJ's, yes, and then the ice cream shop at C Shop, where the mom would have told you to stay away from the kids.
Well, I really don't know Birch Bay that well, so I mean, anytime I ever go there, I just go to that part that's closest to the side and play disc golf or drive the cool beach drive. So in my head, that's what it is, drove the beach, drive home, but then you're saying no.
No, I'm not saying no. That's all along the route of the beach.
Like I said earlier, I tried to estimate on, I guessed like maybe 4:30.
Okay, and then what's the next thing you remember after that?
Just the whole panic about the dog that went on all night.
What time of the day was that? When did you first?
It started when I got home because she accidentally let him out and
So
he just gone.
Like 4 in the afternoon.
4:30, and I'm guessing, like I'm just trying to put hours together, but then it sounds like I maybe might be wrong on this.
No matter how hard Corey tries, simply forgetting he tried to lure several children into his vehicle less than 24 hours ago isn't going to satisfy these officers.
Okay, so you're telling us that you don't recall going to CJ's Beach House at the restaurant, taking toothpicks, anything like that. You're saying that you don't recall standing in the middle of the road screaming at oncoming traffic. You're saying you don't recall going to C Shop and talking to 2 little kids commenting on their shoes. Would Mickey Mouse ring a bell?
No. Well, I made fun of their shoes?
No, you commented on them. You complimented them.
No Mickey Mouse, no memory of any kids
That
whatsoever.
looked like
in
you
the
had
whole
a
day.
memory of something.
Well, no, I just remember the same questions over and over. I mean, if I did remember something, I would just tell you right away without you even having to ask me.
Okay.
But I don't remember anything except for all the stuff that we talked about.
Yeah.
Although you did trigger a couple memories at the beginning.
About the ice cream and about the route you took
yeah,
home.
Yes.
Sure.
So I shouldn't say that probably. Maybe you will trigger something. We'll get some.
Sure.
I'm sure you're trained.
Okay. What about some other kids that you went and sat next to at the C Shop, at the ice cream shop?
I don't remember anything to do with kids at all day, anywhere I went.
Okay. What about asking anyone if they wanted some alcohol?
Asking someone if they wanted alcohol, or I wanted their alcohol from them.
No, asking if they wanted alcohol.
No.
So why do I have 5 different
So they're saying that I was doing something and some with toothpicks and offering people alcohol?
You were talking to the kids and asking if they wanted candy, if they wanted toys, and then you opened their trunk and asked if they never wanted to see their parents again.
What? That's impossible.
But this was right after you had gone to CJ's Beach House, gone inside and talked to the paying customers and talked to a woman for about 10 minutes. Then you left the restaurant, went out alongside the wall with toothpicks and started talking to those same people, and the server asked you to leave, and then you started yelling at the server and told her that you were going to jump the wall and show her
What is the wall?
the barrier for the patio.
This is like a bad X-Files episode right now in my head. I'm not saying anything about it, though.
Okay, all right. Well, if you don't have anything further, then I'm going to go ahead, have you face away from me and put your hands behind your back.
What's happening?
You're under arrest. Go ahead, put your hands behind your back.
For what?
You're under arrest for
behind my
2
back.
counts. Yep, there we go. Thank
This
you.
is crazy.
You're under arrest for 2 counts of
What's that mean?
means that you had 2 juveniles that you tried to lure into your vehicle.
Oh my God, give me a break. I have granddaughters and daughters, and I'm a soccer coach. I would never do anything weird like that.
With Corey under arrest, officers gather up the charges that he's going to face.
Okay, so questions first. Do you guys wish to pursue charges? Yes. Okay. He is currently at the Whatcom County Jail. There will be a protection order that goes into place to protect Kenley, to protect every single one of them. If and when he gets released from jail, you'll get a phone call from the jail saying he's being released. I'm going to give them your phone number. It's going to be Kenley's point of contact. I'm going to say that that's her phone number, but it's so that all communication is coming to you. Okay.
Corey Lee Cardwell was transported to Whatcom County Jail and charged with 5 counts of or attempting to into any area or structure that is obscured from or accessible to the public. He is classified as a Class C felony in the state of Washington, carrying a potential sentence of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. As of this date, Corey remains in pretrial detention without bail as the case proceeds through Whatcom County Superior Court.
Broken clock on the back wall, counting down till the last bell rings. You lock the door with the plastic smile, say this is just our little secret thing. Ink stains on my test paper, your hand leaning you.